material. So I'm certainly well aware of the classification requirements and did not send classified material.
Well, that's the last time Hillary Clinton really addressed the classification part. She hasn't taken questions on the email scandal in a while. She did sign something for a judge here, which she said by I, Hillary Rodham Clinton, declare under the penalty of perjury that the following is true and correct. While I do not know what information may be responsive for purposes of this lawsuit, this is a lawsuit about Judicial Watch, I've directed that all my emails on clintonemail.com in my custody that were or potentially were federal records be provided to the Department of State, and on information on this belief, this has been done. As a result of my directive, approximately 55,000 pages of these emails were produced to the department on December 5th, 2014. Cheryl Mills, her former chief of staff, did not have an account on clintonemail.com. Uma Abedin did have such an account, which was used at times for government business. Of course, the big news today is that the Inspector General is saying that they have found 2 of 4 emails with the highest, one of the highest security classifications on 2 of the 4 emails. We'll bring in our panel now. Steve Hayes, senior writer for the Weekly Standard, David Catanese, senior political writer for U.S. News and World Report, and syndicated columnist Charles Krauthammer. Okay, Steve.
Well, it's important to remember that these 4 emails that we're talking about, the 2 of the 4, the 4 of the 40, this is a subset of a subset of a subset of a subset. So you're talking about a massive universe of emails with potentially classified materials in there. These are not the only classified emails that have been found. I just talked to a source, or heard from a source about this, who said, no doubt the information was directly lifted from a classified document or source. No doubt on that. This person speculated that it couldn't be a top secret document unless they wouldn't reclassify it after the fact if it was a top secret document.
So you're saying at generation.
At generation, right. And she may not have seen it marked that way. There's a lot we don't know. There's a lot we need to learn. But certainly it's the opinion of this source with vast experience in intelligence and classification that this is not something that is likely to have been classified.
Well, we've reported before from 5 different intelligence agencies and sources that that they believe that there could be more than 100 or hundreds that fall into this category.
Right, absolutely. I mean, because again, what you're talking about is a very small, they basically took a sample. They said, we reach in here, we want to see what we're looking at, and they found 4 of these 40, which is a reasonably high percentage. So if you extrapolate that out to the 30,000 some odd emails, documents, it's a big problem.
Dave, how big a deal?
I think it's a very big deal given the soundbite that you played, and it goes to her chief vulnerability politically. Honest and trustworthy. That's where you've seen her numbers take a hit all summer long. That's why you see these battleground polls against the Republicans. She's down a couple points or tied. When going into the summer, she was ahead. And look, the 2 topics that Hillary Clinton did not want to talk about, or at least sort of turn the page on going into the fall, were the Clinton Foundation money and the emails. And this elongates that story. She's going to have to answer this at a podium eventually.
It's one thing to answer it at a podium and in front of a microphone, but when you sign this document declaring under the penalty of perjury, it's a different deal.
Well, that's why the approaches on this, the questions on this, are from 2 sources. One is political from the Congress, and the other is judicial, the lawsuits. And that's where you have to sign and swear under the penalty of perjury. And she is telling us that there was nothing that were in the destroyed thousands of emails that were destroyed as supposedly private. And she said it was about Chelsea's wedding, it was about her yoga and stuff. She is swearing that there is nothing there that could be considered official business. Now, unless they are completely sure that the servers were wiped clean, that could be shown to be untrue. And I think at some point in the process, probably from the courts, not from the Congress, the government is going to have to seize their servers, what's left of them. I assume they exist but are cleaned, and check that. And I mean, everything is going to hinge on that. But on this issue today, I mean, it's not only her trustworthiness, it's the fact that nothing she says ever is true 3 weeks later. She says there was nothing classified, and I know how to do that. I know the process. And then it was revised to nothing that at the time was classified. Well, now we're learning it is quite probable that actually at the time it was, and she should have known it, even if she'll claim, obviously, that she didn't. There's always a movement, a parsing, a cutting of the edges with her husband and with herself, and that is the problem that dogs her and that she cannot escape.
You know, you have the